And after we finished the aria, the house fell in, and I'm positive, my jaw went back.
I one thing to do, and the other thing, they would take away one, two, they take away these mucus sound, with really pure mucus sound. Tu fai la voce.
But if you cannot sit comfortably in the lower middle register and in the low register, forget it. Because you also have to put out sound while you're doing it.
But it's negotiating the break that makes the difficulty.
Absolutely.
Because, I mean, I've seen so many singers fall down in that repertory, and also Handel, which is the Handel contralto, which is the same problem. It's getting in and out of the break with the chest voice and the middle voice.
Just that one figure that goes, that's
it's a killer.
murder.
Well, of course, I suppose most people know nowadays that bel canto means beautiful singing. But of course, it's only the beginning of it. The bel canto era began with the great singers in the middle of I suppose even the 17th century it started to begin, but it flourished and blossomed in the middle of the 18th century, even the early part of the 18th century, when the great castrati were at their peak. These, of course, were the artificial male singers who had these extraordinary, powerful soprano and mezzo-soprano voices, which we don't have anymore, I'm happy to say, rather.
Why don't you sing it again?
I'd love to, and very likely they'll do it in Sydney again, I think. But it's all, the old schedule and the time, and when it's an opportune time and when it's not.
Even before the brain, anyway, from there is hearing. I am hearing one fraction before the note I am going to sing. Hear like Caruso means sing like Caruso. Because, of course, if you hear one note project like that, you are going to do that note, but you have to hear the note.
Then I learned an awful lot from Ricky about the style and just how to do it. And then, of course, we got a lot of books on it, too. But I think mainly you don't learn that much from the books, do you?
No, it's doing it. And it's studying music, of the other music of the period you want to sing. That's what helps you so much.
Right. And so now, of course, after doing it for all these years, so much of it is just ingrained that it just sort of happens naturally.
Bel canto became a high cult in the early 19th century, and of course it's in a way remained this. It's a style of singing. It's a very elegant way of singing. It's a way that's very hard to explain in words what it is. A concert of great singing, of great singers, can demonstrate it more than any written word or any spoken word. It takes a lifetime to learn about. It takes a lifetime to even begin to sing the real bel canto. It's something that many people desire, many people want it. Most people love it when they hear it. Very few people find out how to do it.
To be a real tenor voice, if you don't cover F sharp and G, you are not a real tenor. You can be a fantastic singer, but not a real tenor voice. In another way, in another way, you make that thing like that. Okay, you can do it's a good sound, but this white is not elegant. If you do now that sounds simple. Take probably 10 years to make a sound like that.
One of the most important things, of course, is the legato singing. And how does one go about singing legato? You do this by joining the tones, uniting the tones. And we do this mainly by scales.
A singer is an athlete.
Generally.
Half athlete, half artist.
Generally. No, but generally is an athlete. Generally is an athlete because we are push.
I mean,
so
Luciano, what exercise do you do basically at home if you want to warm yourself?
Just
the same.
Let me do the same.
Yes, where do you want to start?
Did I touch the fa, the F? Did I touch the F? Yes. I know. I realized I did open. I realized I did open. It was an F. You see?
I have a scale that I learned many years ago from my main teacher, which is very good for mezzos or contraltos, which takes you down into your lower register and then brings you back up without bringing up all that weight from the low register. And that is just singing like this. Actually crescendo down there.
You use the control. It's control
right,
legato.
But you can crescendo into that lower register for the effect, but you don't bring up that dangerous weight of the chest.
And things like that are essential. But so many singers, the minute they start learning, they want to sing Che gelida manina. They want to sound like Pavarotti. It's not possible, is it? I suppose the heart of bel canto must be the real cantilena, isn't it? The long flowing melodies.
Che faccia ad esempio col vocalizzo e poi con le parole?
Sì.
Allora, for example, the vocalize is this is the legato line. Now you have to put the word and don't lose this legato.
Angelo di pace all'anima, la voce mia risuona.
The voice is something who has vibration, and more longer the vibration are, better it is. Keep going up, like I made always the example of a jet who is going without make any break at
Interruption.
all. Interruption.
Because it takes more than an old piano played by somebody out of practice to demonstrate that. You have to hear it sung by the human voice, which is the most glorious of all instruments. I firmly believe that there's no instrument in the world that can touch the human voice for communicating from one person to another.
I was very fortunate when I was growing up that as far as my bel canto training was concerned, I had mother who helped me so much. She was taught by a pupil of Marchesi and had at my disposal all the wonderful books of vocalises, which I studied as a child. I heard her singing them, and I just copied her. I couldn't read music. I was 3, 4, 5 years old.
My father he has still now a beautiful tenor voice, and
Wonderful tenor voice.
And he's closing right in the passaggio, like I would like to hear many young singer or student of this day to do, just to make the voice grow and grow and grow more and more and come elegant and dark. And it was for me almost impossible to escape to that trap of my father, because he brought home all the records of the greatest tenor of the past, beginning with Caruso, Gigli, Pertile, Schipa, Björling, all of them, Tucker, everybody, Di Stefano, Tagliavini. I hear all the bel, what we call the bel canto tenor.
It's strange that my path is somewhat similar to both of theirs, in so much as that I had a parent, my father, who had a very beautiful tenor voice, and he, although he did not want to teach me himself, he was there guiding, watching, saying, you know, there is a natural placement there, don't let anybody fool around with a natural placement. And I started studying much too young, but at least he was watching over it. I started at 5. And it's wild.
Young, yeah.
I said it's a miracle I'm still singing. I think I began as a soprano because I began so damn young.
Yes.
Who's got any chest voice at 5 years of age?
We have any chest at 5 years of age.
Now, Luciano, that's another thing.
And I can remember very clearly at about 15 years of age, I suddenly had another whole octave on the lower part of my voice.
But something
I like that
very
word.
much to the point there, because here's an example of what we were talking about before. Not only is the legato exceptional, it's wonderful legato, but you see, getting from the middle voice, which starts here, middle voice, to a very low note, which many singers would bash out on the chest.
I, for one.
Jackie, show me how a certain singer would sing that.
I'm a great basher.
So show me how a bad singer would sing that phrase.
Bad.
But so
It's wanted
but we
bad.
listen to it all the time in the theatre. Of course, bel canto, although it's beautiful singing, that doesn't mean just singing beautiful, long, flowing phrases. It also means doing all sorts of hair-raising tricks. Bel canto also becomes, in many ways, a great circus act, because there are so many things which are of enormous difficulty to perform. Joan always told me that when she was very young, she used to go into the gardens and imitate the birds, and she learned to trill that way. Wonderful, because it was something that came easy and naturally. Jenny Lind, in her book on singing, gives very difficult exercises to learn the trill. She gives like this. Doing them very slowly on all tones. And then she says that if you do that for a year or 2 years, you may be able to learn the trill. I want to know, how did you learn the trill?
I didn't read Jenny Lind's book, but I decided that if I took 2 notes very slowly and speeded them up, then I would get my trill. And that's how it happened.
Luciano,
I learned from the bird.
You learned from the bird too, yeah?
I learned from the bird. In fact, I can do.
Perfect.
Bird.
Another thing you have to learn to trill on the full tone and on the semitone, which is something that many singers don't understand about. I mean, to trill on the full tone, it's... Darling, do it for me. Do on the full tone. Okay, now do it on the semitone. Do us a beautiful messa di voce. In other words, a messa di voce start piano, a big crescendo, and a big decrescendo.
Yeah.
And many singers can do the first half, but they can't do the second half.
Do you know that I once had a very famous Italian mezzo-soprano tell me, now listen to this, that the term messa di voce doesn't exist in Italian?
She's right.
Okay, so tell me
Mezzo di voce is position of voice.
Okay, so what is this called?
Mezza voce.
No. Quando si comincia...
But they say messa di voce is written in the old Italian
old
singing
Italian.
language.
Okay. Like that mezzo soprano then is talking about modern language,
Right.
who is not don't exist anymore, but it means something else. It means position. It means support. It means
Messa.
Messa di voce.
Messa means
Messa
exactly
means
Placing of the voice.
put
Yes,
in
placing
place.
of voice,
Put
yeah.
in place.
And this is obviously an exercise to put the voice in place.
You
and
will
to keep
never
it in place.
you will never hear any critic write down messa di voce.
Messa di voce? No?
That's
Sì
the
o no?
messa di voce.
Sure.
Sicuro? Glad you have to do that. That's harder.
We often read in the newspapers about fioritura. I wonder, does everybody know exactly what fioritura means? It's an Italian word which means flowering, and it means that a line of music, a melody, becomes decorated and adorned. And for example, if you take something like a little piece like Home Sweet Home, you can play that melody, which is dead simple. If a singer of the 19th century singing that might well have sung something of that nature. There are 100,000 ways to decorate. Should we show something to explain what we mean?
What about Di Tanti Palpiti? I could do like the first phrase and
do it bare and then do it ornamented, just to show that.
Yeah,
In
right.
G major, yes,
Yeah.
F, F.
Okay, now it comes back. The reprise
Yeah.
is.
Sure.
Even little,
Tiny ones.
you even did not take much big
For
advantage.
example, the same thing,
Yeah.
the sonambula. Just sing with the, if you forget the words, sing the tune. And now do me one of the variations. Bel canto is working at its fullest when the human voice is singing perfectly. It's something we all want, something we all desire. It doesn't happen too often, but that is the only instrument which one wants to hear, really.